Stephen Maguire, the world number 5 from Glasgow, against Xiao Guodong from China, who's at the table here. He won the first frame, had a break of 89 in the first frame, and he's at the table here in the second, just 15 points in front. He's 39 in the world and a tough prospect, and you can see there, nice little shot to get the Reds open there, so a chance to make it 2-0. I'm David Hendon. Alongside me this morning, someone who knows Steve Maguire well, a fellow Glaswegian, Alan McManus. But as we've seen already this week, Alan, if you don't play well from the start in these tournaments, you could be on your way home.
Yeah, good morning, Dave. It's a tough match this today for Stephen Maguire. We know that Xiao Guodong in his wild card match had a good run out, didn't he, against the young 13-year-old. Managed to win the match easily, 5-0, and was quite impressive as well. So he's carried that on into this match. We'll just be keen to take two blacks with these two open reds.
31.
Yes, he beat Wan Sijun, who was 13, looked about 10. 5-0. It was a pretty comfortable win, but it was to be expected, really. He seemed far too young, really, to be out there.
38.
Yeah, I mentioned it was a good run out, wasn't it, for
39.
Xiao Guodong. Good bit of practice out there in the main arena. And as I said, if he takes blacks with the last two reds, Stephen Maguire's going to need snookers. There you see it, 44 ahead. This red would secure it.
47.
Well, he looks nice and sharp, and the wildcard round, not necessarily popular with players, but if you can come through with a good bit of experience on the match table, then it stands you in good stead. He was never threatened in that match. He had a chance to get used to conditions. Steve Maguire, of course, coming in cold. And it looks like he's 2-0 down. Yep, we've seen enough of this one, so a good start by the Chinese, Xiao Guodong, already 2-0 up. It's first to 5, who will reach the last 16. We're back with frame 3 after the break. Frame 3 just underway. Xiao Guodong's broken off. Stephen Maguire here at the table, trailing 2-0.
Yeah, he just hasn't got himself going yet, Stephen, has he? I would also mention it's been a couple of weeks. Stephen Maguire's been out there in Asia. Of course, he had the 6 red event in Thailand 10 days ago or so, but nothing in between. So there's been a lot of time spent out there. I'm not quite sure how much practice he's had, but it's bound to have an effect. As I say, he's just been slow to start this afternoon's match.
Yes, I think it's one of those matches that it would be an upset, of course, if Xiao won, but it wouldn't be a huge shock. You know, he's a good player. He's been beating quite a few top players the last couple of years, quarter-finals, last 2 years of the Players' Tour Championship Grand Finals, so he's not expected necessarily to win, but if he did, it wouldn't be seismic. That was pretty seismic, going in off the middle. Well, that's relief for Maguire. I mean, he's potted a good red there, but has found the middle pocket.
Yeah, he looks sharp, doesn't he, Xiao Guodong? Already mentioned that easy wildcard match that he had a couple of days ago. Always just helps a player, that does. As you say, Dave, just to get a feel of things out there, especially having won 5-0, scored pretty heavily and wasn't threatened, so he'll be feeling good out there, I would imagine.
Yes, and he also, of course, had to qualify, won 3 matches to qualify, and in the last match he beat Peter Ebden 5-0. I mean, that's a cracking win over Ebden, who's always so hard to beat.
Yeah, that was a terrific win he had in Doncaster in England just a few weeks ago. And I'll tell you another thing about that match, he didn't waste any time. I think he won it 5-0 in about 70 minutes, something like that. Peter hardly got a shot. You can be sure that everyone involved in the game know how good this young Chinese player is. Stephen Maguire certainly does.
One.
Yeah, just symptomatic of the way things have gone this afternoon for Stephen. Good pot in the red, but nothing to follow.
It does so often seem to be a game when you're just looking for a little break, a little bit of fortune to go your way. It doesn't. When you need it, it just doesn't.
It's Maguire one.
Yeah, it's one of those unwritten rules of this game, isn't it? Balls don't forgive you. Now, Xiao Guodong appears he can just get through it to have a go at this long red. Oh, brilliant. Didn't maybe fully commit to position. If he'd stunned the white dead, he knew he was leaving something, so he maybe just quit on it slightly, but still a great pot. Just more evidence of how good he's feeling out there.
Guodong one.
Yes, and he's saying to Maguire, if your safety isn't better than the one you played, I can knock them in. Didn't get close to the ball cushion, Maguire, with his safety shot. So he's a little bit under early pressure here, he's Stephen Maguire.
He just hit across that one. Very tough shot that. He was thinking the only red he could leave was the one he's playing. Obviously got the double kiss. And he's left Xiao. Oh, very tricky red in this left cushion. Oh, that's first class. And the control on the cue ball was even better than the pot. Nicely on the pink, and another chance to score a few. Oh, he's had a kick. I think I detected a slightly bad contact just then, and it may have just ruined things. Yeah, his body language tells us that. He can maybe just bend it slightly with a bit of left hand side, but yeah, don't think so. So that's a bit unlucky.
Xiao Guodong 7.
No return to balk this time for Stephen Maguire. He's going to have to try and find a spot down there, which is not going to be easy. Yeah, just coming down to have a look if he leaves the white in this black cushion. If he's going to leave that red in the black spot. That was the danger. Difficult to find a path back. It's not too bad though. He just needs a chance, doesn't he, Stephen Maguire? Dave, he needs you know, a decent chance just to get in, score a few, get the arm loosened a bit. He's just been frozen out the first couple of frames. Had a couple of chances, but just not been able to take advantage as yet.
Yes, and it's got to start pretty soon, hasn't it? If he goes 3-0 down, it's going to be a tough road back. So this is, I think, is an important frame for him.
Of course, the players these days, we know about the busy schedule that they have, travelling the world, most of Europe and a lot in China and Thailand. And I said earlier about Stephen Maguire, he's now been on the road, so to speak, for probably the best part of 2 weeks, and your form can quickly go because you're out there just twiddling your thumbs most of the time. It's difficult to get any rhythm, but maybe this is a chance he's been waiting for.
One.
Yeah, not happy, is he?
Well, there's the first bang of the table. It's just gone wrong immediately.
Yeah, what that does is tell you how much this guy wants to win, Stephen Maguire. He's livid with himself there. It wasn't easy, in all honesty, to avoid the cannon off the blue, but it's just spoiled things. And that was just sheer frustration, wasn't it?
Stephen Maguire 6.
Could have finished worse, though, couldn't it? I think he'll take that.
Yeah, that's what we call a rush of blood, wasn't it, from Stephen? Been very fortunate.
Like you say, he's been out here in this part of the world or away from home for the best part of 3 weeks, and it's a long time to look forward to this match. It's started about as bad as it could do for him, and he is a little short-tempered, but maybe now he's got that out of his system, he can just calm down a little and stick to the task in hand.
Yeah, that's a good point about Stephen. He does sometimes do that. He'll have a lash at something, not very often, but a lot of times it just gets him going mentally as much as anything. Now, just wonder if Xiao Guodong can get through the gap to this loose red. Oh, he played the plant, didn't he? Now, what has he left? Well, all the red in the blue spot past the right middle. If it does, which I think it will squeeze past, it's a decent chance, this. In fact, it won't, so tricky red this with the rest. Got to give this full attention.
He must have strong hands, because down the years he's given the table a belt in here and there, but no damage done, it would seem. Not to him, anyway. Yes, Xiao, he could have left an easier red, certainly, couldn't he, on that last shot?
It's a clever little shot he's playing here. Shouldn't leave anything. Yeah, very good. Stephen just looking to see what the most awkward spot he can leave this cue ball, up near that back cushion. It's going to be an important safety battle this, you feel, the way these reds are. I think you just get the feeling as well, Dave, don't you, that Stephen Maguire feels in himself that if he loses this frame, the match is, well, probably 90%, 80-90% gone. So he knows how vital this is.
Yes, I think there's two things to it. One, things aren't happening for him, but also Xiao Guodong's played well so far, and obviously it's put him a little on edge.
Now, is there a gap here? Well, there's a gap to the one over right corner also, so come on, Stephen, this is your chance. Fancy him to knock the red in without too much problem. Can he find a path back up the table for blue or pink? The curse of the commentator strikes again. I just couldn't see him missing that, but again, just evidence that he doesn't feel comfortable.
What?
Ah, that's good recovery.
Five.
Yes, that was awkward queuing. And I know one thing, like, we don't have a prize for shirt of the week, but if we did, I think Xiao would win it. Never seen one of those before.
Yeah, not since the 70s, I don't think they've seen one of those.
6.
Very smart.
I can imagine sort of Doug Mountjoy wearing that years gone by, although it probably would have been red if Doug had worn it.
He's a snappy dresser, Xiao Guodong. He's got a few of those in his wardrobe. Nice to see. He just wants to fashion a frame-winning chance here, doesn't he?
11.
Or a frame-winning contribution, sorry. Every chance the way they're sitting.
12.
Yes, this is a chance to twist the knife a bit. He's already got Stephen Maguire where he wants him, which is not only 2-0 down, but also frustrated. Be even more frustrated in a minute if he can win this frame.
Seventh. $18.
Yeah, just quite happy to work off the blue. No real need to get the black into play. Building up a lead. If we can just pick a few more reds off.
23.
Go a long way to opening up that 3-0 lead. Struggled in the red, didn't it? But in it went. That's all that matters. Just get the feeling This is the key shot to the frame. A choice of blue or black. If this black goes in, you feel sure it would be 3-0.
It's a bit of a character as well, this lad. He turned up, it was not last season, the season before, at Galway for the PTC Grand Finals. He slept on his hand somehow and it hurt so much he had to put it in a plaster cast. He then misread the time of his match with Judd Trump. Thankfully someone rang him so that he turned up. He got locked in a disabled toilet before the match, and inevitably, having just about made it to the table in time, he beat him.
That's good preparation, isn't it?
37. 38.
One thing he does, this lad, he gets on with things, doesn't he? When he gets in close and the balls, doesn't take him long. Oh, now will the red pass the left corner? If it doesn't, that's a huge blunder.
Well, did he need to bring that red out? There's two in the middle of the table, which he didn't need the red on the cushion.
Yeah, the time he's taken would suggest it won't pass. There you see it, just a bit too close for comfort. Does have a chance to slide off this red. Oh, he's taking the other one now. He's got to get this. He feels sure he'd be leaving something if he missed it.
Xiao Guodong.
Well, he's done himself in there, hasn't he? For no real reason.
Yeah, and against the real top class players in this game, you almost expect, although Stephen Maguire's done nothing really in the match so far, I almost expect Stephen to clear up from here. That's usually what the very top players do when their back's to the wall.
One.
Well, it's a chance I'm sure he didn't think he would get when he was sat in his chair a minute or two back. And that could turn the whole match round, what we've just seen.
Yeah, see, I fancy him to clear up. Under normal circumstances, you maybe wouldn't, but as I say, I know Stephen Maguire so well. I've seen him do it many times, especially when his back's to the wall. Lots of work to do, of course. But if he can knock this red in, I would suggest he goes slight favourite for the frame. He's 36 behind. Still plenty of work to do. Yeah, brilliant.
7.
Played for a choice of brown or pink. Looks a bit straight in the pink for comfort. Was that a slight miscue, I think, from Stephen Maguire? Very, very unusual.
Well, he's given the tip a lot of attention, isn't he, which suggested it was a miscue. And he can only tie as it stands. He's 35 behind with 35 on.
He's not happy with that. There's a half chance there. Get tight in behind that green. All he has done is knocked it a little bit safer than what it was already. If his back wasn't to the wall a minute or so ago, it sure is now, as you say, Dave. 35 behind. If he's going to take this red on, has to get back down onto the black.
It's just not happening, is it, for Maguire right now?
Yeah, just most things he's doing this afternoon, he just keeps running awkward or just not quite getting the run. There's another example of it. The blue's covering the red, otherwise he could have taken it on. There's no easy safety from this, it looks like. Do well to avoid a cannon in the black on the cue ball here. He's gone the other way. Not quite got the snooker. Now will Xiao Guodong be tempted to take this red on? Yeah, I think he was. He played it in such a way he thought, I won't leave it, but that's exactly what he's done. I think he has enough angle here, Stephen, to get back down towards the black. Just off straight, but he can force it.
One.
Struggled in.
8.
He's on the yellow in a fashion, but it's no gimme this if he takes it on. Yeah, too difficult. Decided on the safety, and I don't blame him.
Maguire 8.
You just get the feeling, Dave, that Xiao Guodong's under a little bit of pressure just these next couple of minutes. He knows that what a big frame this is. He knows that if Stephen Maguire wins this frame, he's right back in the match. And he's almost thrown away. Well, it was a great chance he had, Xiao Guodong, earlier, wasn't it?
Yes, he messed it up. You know, it sounds harsh to say that, but he did. Shouldn't have been near that red on the cushion. Didn't need to be near it. Didn't need the red. And now he snookered.
And now is the yellow going to bounce? Not sure whether it's bounced enough for Stephen to be able to get down near this green. It's a bit thinner than it appears on our screens, this yellow. He'll do well to get down close to the green.
Oh dear. Well, yes, he's conceded the frame. It kind of sums up a little bit what's been happening. Nothing's been happening for Steve Maguire, and he goes in off, and Xiao Guodong leads 3-0, and now it's a test really of temperament. Maguire, a long way back for him. He's trailing here in Shanghai, 3-0. Well, it's not easy to do, but Steve Maguire's got to try and forget about all that happened in that last frame and just concentrate on this one. This is a big frame for him.
Yeah, it's almost must win, isn't it? 4-0 down. At any level stuff, at the top level of this game, the match is virtually gone. Most disappointing thing for Stephen, he's had a few chances, hasn't he? Just not made enough of them. That's excellent safety shot. Good pace of cue ball from Xiao. You feel sure that Stephen will be taking this red on. Let's just see how straight he is on it. Because if he's straight, he can do very little with this cue ball. That's what happens when you're 3-0 down, no confidence, no table time, everything goes wrong.
One. Eight. Nine.
That's well controlled. Giving himself a good chance here, Xiao Guodong. Still 3 or 4 loose reds
16.
before he thinks about disturbing the pack.
Seven. Twenty-four. 25.
Oh, brilliant. He deserves to be on a red. That was top class. I think he is. I think he's got a choice of 2. Red just below the pink spot. Looks like he's on that one.
Very confidently played, but of course he knows he's on top, not just in terms of obviously the score, but certainly psychologically as well.
Yeah, played that very confident as well. Played it positive. He'll be eyeing up the green here, I would think. So one good positional shot here. You'd fancy him to win the frame.
36.
Not quite in perfect position yet. Still got to play a good positional shot to make this a genuine frame winning chance.
37.
And that looks pretty good.
$44. 45.
Mentioned earlier, Dave, about how he gets on with things out there, Xiao Guodong. I think he's deceptively quick, isn't he? You don't naturally think he's a quick player, but you know, all of a sudden he's on 52 in almost just 2 or 3 minutes. He gets on with it, doesn't he? Just came betwixt and between here, didn't he? He played actually for a choice of 4 reds, and he's on at least 3 of them, but they're all awkward.
$53.
Oh, well played.
I think Chinese snooker fans are wondering who the next ding is in terms of who's going to start winning major titles. There's a lot of
60.
really good Chinese players around, Chao Yupeng, Liang Wenbo and various others that we've seen the last few years. And there's this lad as well, and who's to say it won't be him? I'm sure it'll be someone eventually.
61.
It might do Ding a favour if that happens, because it takes some of the pressure that's on his shoulders away. He's up later, of course, against Dave Gilbert.
Yeah, I think Ding would be quite happy, wouldn't he, to see another player get in the top 16, another Chinese player that is. Just take a little bit of the spotlight away from him. He wouldn't mind that at all.
69.
Well, that was frame ball, and this has been a great break. I said at the start it wouldn't be a huge shock if he won. I think if he won 5-0 it would be, though. Oh dear, he's missed that one though. Well, that's a little bit careless really, because Maguire will play on. He only needs 1 snooker here. This frame isn't over yet. If that black had gone in, it was 4-0.
Yeah, he's got plenty of work to do, Stephen, here to get back in the frame, but as you say, Dave, the point is he shouldn't have had that chance. Xiao Guodong should be on his way to the dressing room right now.
Well, he just needed to make sure the black, didn't he? He sort of played it slow, but just knock it in.
Yeah, what Stephen's thinking here is they're both reds either side of the table. He'd like to get rid of those, preferably with blacks, and leave one of those reds near the pink to leave a snooker should he get that far. Ah, that's brilliant. That's given him a chance now. As I mentioned, he'll be keen to get the red left a picture within the next 2 or 3 shots.
$16.
He has to finish with a nice angle in the black here. Probably just running through it, trying to land low on this.
17.
Well, he's finished high, but as I said, he'll be keen to play for the red left of picture. If he can finish on that, he's got every chance in this frame. Yeah, just looking to see if he can finish low and play for it in left middle. Just about straight enough. He can just drop this black in. He's looking to see where he wants to leave this. So you have to think that Xiao Guodong's next visit, he's going to be snookered in behind this pink. What Stephen would like to do is get that red just nestled somewhere in behind the bolt colours. Just overran the white a tad. Just not sure whether the blue's going to come into play here. Doesn't want to make a cannon on that.
Maguire 30.
Yeah, you see the difference, 37. So any foul, which you would think would be 4, means Stephen pink or black off the last red and he can win the frame. I'm not sure about going this way. Every chance of leaving a free ball, worried to miss the red. And also difficult not to leave it, but what a good hit that is. Every credit. Count himself a bit unlucky as well. You'd expect to be snookered again here. Stephen can get tight in behind this brown. Yeah, disappointed with that. It was a good hit that, Dave, wasn't it, with the spider? You know, you feel like it, if he missed it, Stephen Maguire was favourite for the frame, so it was a big moment in the game.
Yes, and he played it sort of almost nonchalantly, or so it looked. He just, okay, I've got to hit this, here we go, then get the spider out. You know, he didn't take a lot of time thinking about it.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Terrific hit it was. That's a good shot as well.
Yes, and he won't mind seeing the blue just go safe-ish either. That will help, obviously, Xiao Guodong.
He's just a bit hot under the collar, Stephen Maguire, isn't he, at present? A couple of chances, but they've just gone a begging. That's a clever little shot as well. In or over with the red.
And in is where it is, and that will bring this frame to an end. And, well, an unexpected scoreline, I think you have to say. I don't think many people would have predicted 4-0 to Xiao Guodong, but he's good value for that. Maguire has struggled in most departments, it has to be said, and Xiao Guodong has been pretty impressive overall.
4.
Maguire can't wait to get out of there, can he? He's had a shocking start to this match, and he trails at the interval 4-0. So when they come back in 15 minutes' time, Xiao Guodong will need just one more frame
Quietly, please.
to complete
Thank
victory
you.
and put him into the last 16 of the Shanghai Masters. It's not impossible to win from 4-0 down. It does happen, but it doesn't happen that often.
Yeah, you wouldn't give Stephen Maguire much more than a 5 or 10% chance the remainder of this match. But where there's life, there's hope, I guess. In fact, Xiao Guodong, his last couple of matches in China, he lost 5-0 in Wuxi a couple of months ago to John Higgins. Of course, he won his last match a couple of days ago against the young wild card, 5-0. I'll be hoping this pattern continues. Doesn't want to give Stephen Maguire a sniff, because he's still dangerous, make no mistake.
That last shot kind of sums it up though, doesn't it? You know, he's caught the blue. He won't have given it up yet, but he knows it's tough. He's potentially one mistake away from losing. Well, who's to say that won't have been it? Xiao Guodong knocks the red in.
Yeah, that one's just gone astray after that brilliant opening red. Disappointed that the break's going to finish just on 8. The worry for Stephen Maguire is, I mentioned earlier, he's probably had very little table time and I mean practice time the last couple of weeks out in Asia. I think that's definitely had an impact on this match. I say that's the worry. Because you feel, well, almost certainly Xiao Guodong's at least going to get a few chances to put the match away. And the evidence so far, he's more than capable of taking them.
Just a couple of other scores to bring you two much closer matches on the outside tables. Ricky Walden 2 each with Martin Gould. Graham Dott 2 each with Mark King. Well, this is another chance. Knocked a few of these in already.
Yeah, good call, Dave. And when things are going your way, you get that nice little kiss in the blue. Choice of green or brown. Just disappointed there. I like that cue ball, just another 3 or 4 inches off that side cushion. He's still on the red, but he's got to raise that button there if he's going to do anything with the cue ball. Is he playing the plant?
Xiao Guodong 5.
It was always going to be tough, that one. Difficult to control. The pot was difficult enough. I think another good thing, Dave, about Xiao Guodong, he's now time served, so to speak, isn't he, as a professional? He knows the job out there. He's been around now a few years, played most of the top players and beaten some of them. So as I say, he's gaining experience all the time. He won't shirk at the chance of beating a top player like Stephen.
That's right, he turned pro in 2007. His first tournament was the Shanghai Masters, oddly enough, and he played Stephen Maguire. And Stephen beat him 5-1, but as you say, since then he's gained a lot of experience on the tour. He's up in the, well, up to 39 in the world, so he's a handful, and we've seen that again today. And I think it's indicative of a lot of players down the list. Very dangerous players coming through these qualifiers, and of course they gain experience in the PTCs and all the tournaments that they play in, come up against the top players more regularly, and they don't seem to fear them. It's just all on the day now. Usually still see, of course, the top players coming through in the later stages of tournaments because they're the top players, but in these early rounds you've really got to be on your game. If you're not, as we saw with Judd Trump yesterday against Michael Holt, you're on your way home. Oh dear. Well, it's not getting any better, is it, for Stephen?
Yeah, hit that all wrong. Choice of 2 reds now for Xiao Guodong. Knock this red in. You would fancy him to finish on the black.
One.
No, not quite as planned. He's on the pink, but he's going to be busy getting in and out of baulk. Back down towards the reds. We'll do well to avoid a cannon on the green here. Yeah, that's excellent. Now how's his cue ball? Not perfect on anything.
7.
Yeah, excellent recovery though. As ever, the way these reds are, he's just one good positional shot away from making this a genuine chance to win the frame and match.
And that's not it. Came very close to going in the middle pocket.
Yeah, this red he's looking at, I think he'd like to take it on, but the pot's far from certain. The position isn't either, so deciding on the thin safety. Just wait for a better chance, but it's a good 30-point lead.
Xiao Guodong 12.
Yeah, you can just see he's tempted here to take this red on. Red that's nearest to black. Just depends on that kind of shot, just how confident you feel. Sometimes you get a feeling that you really fancy something, Looks like he's taking it on. Oh, clean as a whistle. Deserves to be on a colour.
One.
Good pot as well. But again,
8.
just ran awkward. Wasn't easy to control that. In fact, I think he's on nothing. Yeah, just going to take his medicine. Try and play another good safety. Cue ball somewhere around the green would be good.
Xiao Guodong.
So Maguire 4-0 down, 38-0 down. Really up against it here. He's never at any point looked like he was going to really get stuck in and dominate the way he can, and there again it just kind of sums it up really. He's such a formidable player when he's in full flow. He really, as I say, imposes himself on matches and on opponents, but that's not happened today, and it looks like it's not going to happen now.
Yeah, sometimes you can just put it down to a bad day at the office, can't you, Dave? That's been the story of this match so far.
Yes, I think the only good news now, not that necessarily Maguire will feel it if he does lose here immediately, at least you don't have to wait too long for your next tournament. The next big ranking event is the new one in India, which is coming up in a few weeks' time, which indeed you qualify for, Alan. You'll be looking forward to a trip out there.
Yeah, never been to India. Can't wait to go.
Steve Maguire's qualified. Xiao Guodong actually didn't. He lost to an Indian player, Aditya Mehta, which I think the organisers were probably quite happy about.
That was a clever little shot from Xiao Guodong. Sort of speculative attempt at the plant, but as long as he made contact in the red, shift it from that pocket, he was always liable to get safe. Not only that, he's put Stephen in a bit of trouble here. No obvious path back to baulk. I think he's contemplating taking the red on down the rail, but not only is it, well, such a high tariff of difficulty, that shot, the cueing's really awkward as well, being a right-hander, as you'll see in a few seconds. Yeah, just cueing across the cushion there. He's done well there, Stephen. Couldn't really play an attack in safety, but at least he got the cue ball back in baulk.
Some shirt, isn't it? I'll keep going on about it, but very distinctive. Lee Richardson, there's a name from the past. He used to be known as the shirt, didn't he? He wore a few in his time.
Sure did. I remember Lee well. Lovely guy. And a good player as well, he was. I think he had a different shirt for every match, didn't he, Lee Richardson? Now then, obviously he has a chance at the red, the straight red to left middle. Very difficult, and position is not guaranteed. Yeah, he doesn't fancy it, does he? I don't blame him. It's just difficult for Stephen to show patience, isn't it? You know, because that's the opposite of how he's feeling. He just wants to get in with a chance. His patience, I would think, is running out quickly. Oh, brilliant. Will that be a little spark just to get him going? The one thing about this guy, he's never beaten. As long as there's life, there's hope out there for Stephen. It's just gone awkward again. He's going to need the spider here. Not sure whether he can hold for the black. Maybe forced to go up for the pink into the same pocket this time. Just everything's difficult at present for Stephen.
Nine.
Yeah, quite happy to leave the mid-distance red into left corner. If this red goes in, he's going to give himself a chance here. Now let's see how well he cues this. Much better.
15.
Yeah, just got a hint of a kick, didn't he? Took the pace out of it. Just took about 8 or 10 inches out the cue ball. Oh, brilliant. Exactly as how he intended to play it.
22.
He's one of those players, Stephen Maguire, isn't he, Dave, that no matter how badly he's played, when his back's to the wall, he's still dangerous. There's no doubt about that. He's done it many times in the past.
Yes, it's certainly not beyond him to win 5 frames in a row against anybody. And I do think at this stage a bit of pride comes into play as well, professional pride. You know, he's not played well. No one wants to lose 5-0. So if you can just get this frame on the board, you never know. We've seen it before. Certainly not a player you want coming back at you, that's for sure, because he's once he gets into his stride, it's pretty intimidating stuff.
31. $38.
Yeah, lots of work to do. If he's going to win the frame at this visit, still 2 or 3 reds that you'd fancy him to get.
39. $46. $47. $54.
So easily he's icebreaker the match, but this is where the real hard work is about to begin.
$55.
Yeah, that looks okay for Stephen. Just get the slightest of angles here. Just get the cue ball out for the black, on and off the cushion. Should have a nice angle to attack this last red.
62.
So the lead is 20, the black obviously 27. That would probably mean that he's going to play in behind this red. I wouldn't think he'll play to disturb it, because all he's going to need will be the red. He can just drop it in. Yes, there'll be no heroics here.
Well, it's been a great effort this, bearing in mind everything that's gone on before it. Now, I just like these extra 5 points as well. Then it'll be 2 snookers needed.
Yeah, you just think back to that first red at this break. That was special, wasn't it?
75.
Said at the time it might have just been the spark that he was looking for. It's proved to be the case in this frame, and Xiao Guodong now knows that this match is still alive.
Maguire 75.
Well, that's the end of that then. That's a great break, it has to be said, by Steve Maguire. That 75 was really well put together. He's not given this up yet, but he's still trailing 4-1. So all of a sudden things are just turning round, and that's not a great shot at all from Xiao Guodong. He's just lost the 5th frame. He's 4-0 up, of course, but Maguire's made a good 75, and you can just see in his body language now, he's just starting to sense, OK, I'm still behind, still second favourite, but the match isn't over yet. And that's the beauty of a sport like snooker. You know, if a football match, if you're 4-0 up with 10 minutes to go, it's over. But snooker, you just stay out there till someone's won, however long it takes.
Yeah, we seen it yesterday with Peter Lyons, didn't we? 4-1 behind to Matthew Stevens. As you say, Dave, it can be done.
6.
And strangely enough, most tournaments it seems to happen, doesn't it? There's always one match where there's a big comeback. I think it's often said in this game that intervals do change matches, mainly because, well, they do, don't they? It's a strange thing. But coming out here for this second session, we virtually didn't give Stephen a chance, but you just get the feeling things are maybe going to turn his way.
I remember there was a match once at the Crucible, Ken Doherty, John Higgins, and Ken led 10-0. You think, well, it's over. All of a sudden, it's 10-7, and all Ken can think about, he's still leading, all he can think about now is, if I lose this, I will never forgive myself. He did win in the end, but it's just funny, isn't it, what it does to the mind, this game.
15.
Yeah, well, it sounds simple to say, but I've always said that you're never going to make a good comeback unless you try to. You know, it's easy to give in, but you know, you can go through your career and maybe only have one or two really, you know, good comebacks, but they do happen,
22.
and probably more than you would think.
Well, as you saw, it wasn't ideal. Pushed the black to the cushion, did pot it, but the main thing is he's just looking better in himself now, Maguire. The thing about the match with Ken and John, you know, if you'd have said to Ken before the match started, you're going to be 10-7 up after 17 frames, you'd think, great, you know, I'll take that. But it's the fact it was 10-0, and then it was 10-7. That's what did him in, or nearly.
Yeah, that's the psychology of this sport, isn't it? They're probably bitting your hand off if you'd offer them 10-7.
Foul. Xiao Guodong, 4.
It's where Xiao Guodong's just got to show patience. I'm sure he won't be panicking just yet. He knows, as I said earlier, he's more than likely to get a few chances. He's got to prepare himself mentally for when they come. Now let's see how Stephen deals with this long red that he's taken on. Not the kind of red he's been knocking in the first part of the match. It's amazing, isn't it? If that was a couple of frames ago, you can be sure he would have left that red on to the middle.
Yes, I think the point you made about the interval is a good one. You know, if they just stayed out there, I think it would have been 5-0. But the fact is, the match was stopped. Just a chance to gather some thoughts and to calm down a little bit, if anything, from Maguire's point of view.
Just managed to avoid the in off there, Stephen, but this red is now on. If this goes in, you'd expect it to be a great chance. Big shot this. It wasn't close, was it?
One.
I cued that well.
8.
Yeah, he was just a bit straight for comfort on the red, wasn't he? That was unlucky, to be honest. Still on the black. You know he's going to take it on. I think he'll just get a nice half ball cannon on the edge of the pack there as well. You'd fancy him to land in a red, so the pot's all important here. Just little signs, aren't there, that the tide is just about turned. Still a long way back, we have to say. He just looks better, as you said, Dave, doesn't he? Confidence looks restored.
Yes, I'm sure he's thinking, why couldn't I have started the match like this? Because he has left himself a lot to do, but it's not impossible.
That was much better. Cued that very smooth. As I said a few seconds ago, the confidence looks like it's flown back into Stephen Maguire's arms here. The lead stretches to 48. Plenty of loose shreds to go at. Thing is as well, Dave, he's one of those players, Stephen, being a top player, we know that he can do, you know, 6, 7, 8 frames where he just isn't going to miss. He's done it many times. Of course, he only needs to win this and another 3 frames, but as I say, he can string frames together pretty quickly as well. His mood has certainly changed.
Well, this is meant as a compliment, by the way, before I say this, but I think the Scottish players in general, they have a sort of stubborn streak about them. They don't like it when it looks like the other guy's going to win. We've seen that with Stephen Hendry, Graham Dott, who's on now, John Higgins, and dare I say, your good self. But he won't like that one, will he? That's gone wrong. I don't know whether that was a kick. White just seemed to die.
Yeah, it was a very heavy contact, wasn't it? Just at the point when he was about to put the frame safe. I don't. Your point just a few seconds ago, I can't think of any Scottish player that's going to lie down.
Well, it's disappointing for him. He was going well, he had the kick. And that red's come back down the table, and it is on. 64 in front, still 75 on though. So Stephen Maguire, well, he's happy to see the yellow on the cushion, you can say that much, but this is a chance for Xiao Guodong to get back into the frame at least.
One.
Oh, that's well played. Now just be opening the other 3 reds up and potting this one. So if this works out, it could be a good chance. That's exactly what it is.
Well, that yellow now becomes so important, doesn't it? Because that is what Steve Maguire is holding on to.
Oh, that's a good positive shot from Xiao Guodong. Would have been forgiven there for just playing the easy positional shot in the pink, but he's taken the bull by the horns. Developed a red.
Fine. 21.
You see the difference of 37, so plenty of points to play with here, Xiao Guodong. You would think the pink and the last red are a formality, so he'll already be thinking about which way he's going to try and attack this yellow. Yeah, just checking the scoreboard. Just has to, well, first things first here, has to make sure that he finishes on a colour. And just worry about the yellow in a few shots' time.
35.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be able to shift it from this position on the green. Looks a little straight for comfort. It's just whether he fancies dropping in behind it.
You are kidding. That is incredible. He needed a snooker. If that green hadn't gone in, he needed a snooker. He's fluked it. That's amazing.
Yeah, like I said, he had to just make sure of the colour there. It looked a bit straight to try and shift the yellow. He was just being a bit greedy. What a massive fluke that could turn out to be. Well, Stephen will want to see this black go on the cushion. I guess from Stephen's perspective it could have been worse. He could have kicked the yellow out and cleaned up, couldn't he? So still big favourite Stephen Maguire, but this looks like it's a half chance.
Yes, and again now the fact he's not the black safe-ish, that could be a factor. He needs the 6 colours to win.
That was first class. He could have played that 100 times and couldn't have played it any better. You would think brown, blue, pink are a formality. It's all going to be about this black.
Nice.
Maguire was unlucky. He got that kick when he was in, and he was going really well at that point.
14.
Now, has he gone too straight in the pink? No, I think he's just got an angle. He can maybe force stun follow through it across for the black. Wants to get close to this black ball. Oh, that's not going to be easy. It's match ball though.
Well, how many of these would you pot out of 10? I wonder. He needs this one to go through to round 2. Caught the cushion. Was never going to go in. Not easy.
Yeah, I think a little bit of justice there without being biased. As you say, Stephen Maguire was a bit unlucky a couple of times there.
And he's grateful that the black goes in, and he's still in there fighting a dramatic frame, and it's turning into a dramatic match. Xiao Guodong now leads Steve Maguire 4-2. No harm done then. There's Terry smiling.
Yeah, you did mention before we went on air, Dave, didn't you, that Terry Camilleri is the fastest racker-upper of the balls in the game. Maybe he was just a bit quick there. Anyway, all's normality is restored. Oh, it's a thunderous kick again there.
Wow, that was horrific. Not so much a kick as a full-scale assault. Told Sean Murphy has been consulting with well, what tabloid newspapers would describe as a boffin in an attempt to work out how to eradicate kicks. So we'll be interested to see where that leads us, if anywhere.
Six.
Well, he's kind of finished in no man's land by the looks of things.
Yeah, talking about kicks, Dave, it's just something that I think we're never going to get rid of, really. What the actual real reason is, who knows, but they seem to be a little bit more common than they have been down the years. It just seems that maybe the balls are getting lighter all the time, the cloths are getting thinner. A lot of static around out there in the main arenas. As I say, difficult to put your finger on exactly what the problem is.
Well, science was never really my specialist subject, but there are people who, say Sean Murphy's been talking to one of them, who can perhaps investigate it further. I mean, it would be worth investing in, I think, because we've seen so many matches turn on bad contacts, and it's very unfortunate for the players. It's hard enough, this game, as it is, without other factors coming into play as well.
5-4.
Yeah, that black's just causing one or two problems here. The danger of this taking a little bit of time to sort out. Will Stephen be tempted here to take this red on? It's a big pocket, so there's probably at least 3 different ways of potting this: thick, thin, or straight in. So yeah, he fancied one of them.
1.
Good control on the cue ball as well. Nicely on the brown. That's unlucky. He's taking the bull by the horns once again. If he finishes on a red, he's in with a chance of closing it to 4-3. And just a little nod of the head.
The other thing about this game, you know, you can play the shot really well and still get nothing from it. You know, he's gone into them with pace, attacking, positive shot, hit them well, but nothing's come out for him. Cue ball stuck to the reds. But even just playing that shot, that's just transferring some pressure, isn't it, onto Xiao Guodong. He's thinking, well, he's going for it here. He thinks he can win this match. This is a big frame.
Yeah, it's a good point, Dave. It's unseen, really, part of this game at the top level. You have to send a message to your opponent out there at all times. You do that through body language, and sometimes with your shot selection, just pick the right times to be aggressive. As we say, Stephen was unfortunate there, but he's backed it up with a good safety. Oh, what a red this is. He's dug out Xiao Guodong. Deserves to be on something here. He's on the yellow.
Well, he didn't play that like a man under pressure, did he? What a great part that was.
Yeah, terrific pot. Opening red. We want to get on that black obviously as soon as he can here. Maybe not off this red. If the next couple of shots work out, he's definitely going to have a chance to win the frame.
I think you do also, you sometimes get some players who, well, not so much in a world of their own, but they seem almost sort of immune to the pressure. They're just kind of concentrating on what they're doing. They're not thinking about the match position. I think Mark Selby has been like that throughout his career. He just gets on with the old cliche again, taking every frame as it comes. Certainly the way Xiao came to the table here, he didn't look like a man worrying about losing from 4-0 up.
Oh, that was a great positional shot, Xiao Guodong. Black is just causing him a few problems here. It's not easy to drop on a red off brown or blue. A little clap from the audience, but if this red that's nearest the black won't pass, and he's not on anything easy, that's for sure. It looks pretty tight. Yeah, not a lot of room past there, is there?
Just wonder if that lone applause is from a Scotsman, maybe. There might be one here.
Well, they're everywhere, Dave.
16.
Yeah, he done well to squeeze the red in there, didn't he? Unlucky with the cannon. So Stephen Maguire breathes again here. He's going to get back to the table, albeit he should be a spot of trouble.
Xiao Guodong, 16.
Well, speaking of Scotsman, Graham Dott, 3-3 with Mark King. It'll be a while, I think, till that one gets resolved. And also Martin Gould, the other match, 4-3 up on Ricky Walden. Some tough first round matches there. There's top players coming up against one another.
Oh, what a pot that was from Stephen Maguire. That's probably the shot of the match from him so far. Deserved a good kiss in the yellow. A choice of green or brown here. If he can fashion a decent position in a red, he's going to give himself every chance. Oh, that was excellent to find that gap. On and off the cushion for the pink in the same pocket, so you would think this is going to develop into a good chance now for Stephen.
I had a tweet actually from Timo Partanen, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. He points out Ronnie O'Sullivan, 2012 German Masters, first round, trailed 4-0. I think that was to Andrew Higginson, and he won the tournament. And it does happen sometimes. If you have a scare in the first round, it's almost like the sort of reprieve man syndrome coming into play. Just maybe relax a little bit, thinking you should be out.
Now is he on a red? Oh, the little wry grin tells us that he's not on one. That was unfortunate. He played it exactly as planned. Still cut this thin one back if he wants to take it on. Yeah, good pot, but he's on nothing again. Yeah, remember that well, that match, Ronnie O'Sullivan against Andrew Higginson, Dave. He missed a rather simple black, didn't he, in the last frame, Andrew? Or was it when he was 4-0 up? He missed a black off the spot just to win the match, and sure enough, Ronnie came back, won the match in the tournament.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, the only player who can dominate the headlines when he's not playing, as he did yesterday. So Yao in trouble here, up behind the brown. Red's out in the open.
He doesn't go away quietly, Stephen, does he?
Well, let's not forget Xiao Guodong. He had a shot at the black, not an easy one, but a shot at the black to win 5-1. But is it going to go 4-3 now? Chance here for Maguire. He certainly looks like a man who is really, really going for it now. He made a bad start, but match isn't over yet.
No, he has the big bounce there, Stephen. Just ruined his position.
Steady.
Just testing the cushions there with his... not happy, is he? Understandable. As I say, he had a big bounce there off the pink. I suppose, at least from Stephen Maguire's point of view, the first 4 frames are largely forgotten. He's now in a match, so... half an hour, 40 minutes or so ago, he was looking like going home. Yeah, just getting at the cue ball a little bit too much there, Xiao Guodong. So he's on nothing. It looks like this frame is going to come down to a scrap in these last 3 reds.
Xiao Guodong set.
Well, in this situation, I think you would fancy Maguire. He's got all the match play and the experience, the tactical side, although Xiao Guodong is pretty good at that as well.
Yeah, he's just got the upper hand, doesn't he, Stephen, here? So he'll want to keep the pressure on as best he can. Has the blue come to his rescue? I don't think so. He can get through to this red. How he's going to deal with the last 2 reds isn't clear, but at least that's a half chance for him. Yeah, he just tried to cannon the two reds.
One.
The idea was right. No position. And who's next?
Maguire. One.
Oh dear. Could be a huge mistake that from Stephen.
One.
I think if I was Xiao Guodong here, I'd be just shoving that green into open play and lay the snooker. Really isn't any other shot he has.
Xiao Guodong.
Just pushing the green into an open place where any mistake from Stephen, it could be match over. We want to hit this off two cushions. Well, that's not the way you wanted to hit it. Now how's his luck? Is the brown or yellow going to come to rescue? I don't think so.
And unlike the last frame, he won't need the black, Xiao Guodong, so this is now a great chance to win it.
One.
I'm sure he played for the green there, but he's landed absolutely plumb on the brown, as you can see. If this goes in, which it has, there's no reason why he shouldn't win frame and match right here and now.
Five.
As Dave says, up to and including the pink.
7.
We'll see him into the last 16.
And you have to say he's responded pretty well to the pressure he's been put under. He's still gone for his shots. He made a great start. It was good value for his lead. And, well, 3 balls away from clinching victory.
40.
And that is exactly where you'd put it if you had the white in hand. Looks a formality now.
Yes, it had to be said, Maguire didn't have the best running, but Xiao Guodong has played the better snooker overall. And he's the winner. It's a great win for him. Stephen Maguire, the world number 5, out in the first round. He made a bad start, lost the first 4 frames. It was always an uphill battle. He gave it everything. If he'd have won this frame, who knows? But it's Xiao Guodong who makes a good clearance there to put the match beyond doubt. So he'll play Peter Lines for a place in the quarterfinals of the Shanghai Masters. It's an upset. He's beaten Stephen Maguire 5-2.